The recruiting momentum is building as Buffs get crystal balled for a 4-star recruit. The Julian Lewis saga continues with more details coming to light. Could we be seeing a flip soon? And the Big 12 released its preseason awards ahead of Big 12 Media Day next week. Plus, we take a look at the receiver room. All coming up next.
Give me my theme music!
And welcome to Buffs News Weekly, your only weekly recap of all Colorado football news. I am your host, Russ Dornish. Make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to show your support. For now, let's jump right in. The Big 12 released its preseason awards, and a few Buffs took home some honors already. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders was named first-team quarterback for the Big 12, taking home the only offensive accolade, while the defensive side saw newcomer BJ Green listed as a first-team edge. The big one was, of course, Travis Hunter being named first-team defense at corner, but also taking preseason defensive player of the year. The Big 12 also released their preseason poll alongside those preseason teams, and currently Colorado is projected to be the 11th best team in the conference. Now, next week is Big 12 Media Day from Las Vegas, and the crew joining Coach Prime includes Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Mark Vassett. Colorado's crew will be a part of the festivities on Wednesday, July 10th. It's nice to see Coach Prime get one last Media Day hurrah with Shedeur, Shiloh, and Travis before their transition to the NFL next season. Stay tuned to Buffs News Weekly to hear all information Colorado related that comes from the big Media Day next week. Now, besides the Big 12 preseason rankings, there were some other rankings that hit the internet this past week that we thought we would share with all of you. First up was a coach pressure ranking from On3, which shows that Coach Prime is under the second most pressure for a coach. Now, I'm not sure specifically if this is self-pressure or institutional pressure, but Coach Prime definitely is not on the hot seat by any of the administrators or fans after what many call a massive success both on the field and off the field last season. If Coach Prime can improve on last season results, then of course there is no pressure. But even so, the financial stability and overall increase in school relevance tells me that no, Coach Prime isn't under the second most pressure of the Big 12 teams. Following up that list is an ESPN mock draft which had Carson Beck going number 1 overall to the Giants and Shedeur Sanders going number 2 to the Las Vegas Raiders. The real head scratcher though from the mock was Travis Hunter following all the way to 9th for the Arizona Cardinals, making him the second cornerback and second wide receiver off the board. With Travis being a generational two-way player who most definitely could see time on both sides of the ball, even at the next level, I would be shocked to see Travis outside the top 5. It will be very interesting to see how these mocks update throughout the upcoming season. Now, on to recruiting news, as Colorado saw some movement again stemming from their most recent official visit weekend. There has been lots of speculation coming out of Colorado and the recruiting staff that weekend was a clean sweep for commits, which also saw Julian Lewis in attendance. In a recent live Coach Prime did during this past week, he talked to a number of different people, but he had a segment with Corey Phillips, the head recruiter for Colorado. Here is what he had to say, and I quote, "Every person we have got at, we've got. We haven't announced them yet. Oh wait, I shouldn't have said that." End quote. Now, many including myself can see that Coach Prime was talking about the players that recently visit, which includes current commits Mantrez Walker, Corbin Lazier, Alex Graham, Chauncey Gooden, Jay Gardenhire, as well as non-commits Evan Haynes, Quennell X Farrakhan Jr., and of course Julian Lewis. If you read into what Coach Prime is saying and the timing, it says that all of the players they are after will be committing. So it was all part of the plan when, this week, Farrakhan Jr. was given a Steve Wiltfong crystal ball as he is set to commit on July 13th. Right now, based on all word out of Colorado that weekend was a clean result of recruits, the dominoes are certainly falling. If you want to hear more about this recruiting weekend, as well as all the breadcrumbs and clues to Julian Lewis flipping to Colorado, check out our live from this past week where I looked at just that and explained why Julian Lewis is giving all of these clues and it's not a troll job, but calculated by both his camp and Coach Prime. Of course, stick with us as we will be covering all these commits as they happen. And of course, for up-to-the-minute updates, make sure you are following us over on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Buffs News Weekly. Now, a new segment of the show leading up to the preseason will be a look at the positional depth on the roster heading into the new season. Up first, we wanted to profile the wide receivers. In possibly one of the best position rooms in the entire country, Colorado is bringing in some firepower to the Flatirons. In what several analysts have listed as a top 10 position for Colorado, Colorado sees several newcomers that should shine in this offense. First up is Vanderbilt transfer wide receiver Will Shepard. Shep was all SEC second team after his 2022 season, saw him with 776 yards and 9 touchdowns. Last year, Shep had 684 yards and 8 touchdowns, again leading Vanderbilt's receivers. Shepard should take the place of last year's top receiver Xavier Weaver. Another newcomer this year who is set to make waves is LaJohntay Wester from FAU. Wester played 4 years at FAU, with last year being his breakout season, amassing 1,168 yards and 8 touchdowns. Wester plans to also make noise at the returner spot, having been named an all-conference returner multiple times while at FAU. Wester can be a dependable target who has already shown his quick abilities to get open during spring practices and the spring game. Another player that has put in a lot of work this offseason is newcomer transfer Cordell Russell, who transferred in from TCU. Last year, Cordell appeared in 3 games but did not have any receptions and ended up redshirting. Now, before coming to college, Cordell was a 4-star recruit and the 17th overall receiver in his class. Cordell Russell should have a bigger impact this season, and especially for many seasons to come, with 4 years of eligibility on this team. As far as returning receivers go, of course, you can't talk about the room without bringing up two-way star Travis Hunter.
Third down, Morris. Intercepted, wow! Travis Hunter!
With Hunter playing both sides of the ball and missing 4 games last season, he still put up impressive numbers with 721 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns.
Nebraska jumps offside. Free play for Sanders. Over the middle. Caught for first down. Travis Hunter breaks a tackle, still on the move. And it'll go down at the Nebraska.
With a deeper receiver room, one has to wonder if maybe Travis gets to take a few more offensive plays off due to his importance on the defensive side of the ball. However, as Coach Prime has said, Travis gets bored when he's not playing, so I have a feeling we'll still see Travis a ton on both sides of the ball. Then we have Jimmy Horn, who had a very successful first season at Colorado with 567 yards and 6 touchdowns, while also being a return man for Colorado.
These two really sting if you're Colorado. Sanders downfield, got him in! Horn! Atonement! Touchdown!
This will be Horn's last season with dreams of going pro, so you know Horn will be locked in for this upcoming season. The underrated receiver in the room who has absolutely balled out this offseason is returning player Omarion Miller.
On the program in general. Here's Sanders, throws a deep ball. And caught at the 15.
The contact, and I think he gets his right arm held behind him, and he goes out just left-handed and then corrals it with.
As a true freshman, Miller took a bit to get going, But in a massively breakout performance against USC, it was obvious that Miller was very special. Miller put up 7 catches for 196 yards and 1 touchdown against the 8th ranked Trojans. So far this spring, Miller has taken that momentum and turned it into some insane play during spring practices. If Miller doesn't take over a starting spot this season, just know that he will definitely be the #1 receiver going into next year. Finally, we have the new incoming freshmen and top recruits Draylon Miller and Cam Michael, who both come in with a ton of speed and playmaking abilities. The 2 4-star recruits could see limited action in their first season, especially in expanded packages of 5 wide receivers, or even possibly as scat backs to utilize their speed. While stats are only one thing and don't always tell the full story, the receiver room at Colorado is full of speedy, agile, and skilled receivers who make Colorado extremely dangerous in the passing game, giving Shedeur Sanders a plethora of options to get the job done. Plenty of people saw national rankings for Colorado's receivers and couldn't believe they were rated so high. But when you look at the returning production, as well as what the newcomers did at their old schools, one can't help but realize that Colorado will be a force to reckon with when it comes to the air game this season. That's all for this week. Be on the lookout for our live schedule this week, as we will not be having our normal time on Tuesday. Again, make sure you're subscribed and have the notifications turned on so you know when we are live and upload videos. For Buffs News Weekly, I'm Russ Dornish. Sko Buffs!
Give me my theme music!